LSU takes on Penn State, 7 o'clock Eastern start time. The LSU Tigers are -9, totals 142. We're 8-3 in our last 11 NBA tier package picks on BrockPage.com. And the good news is we have another NBA tier package pick going off here this evening. We're also hitting at 76% in our last 22 extra daily picks on that very same website. And if you want to access today's extra daily pick, it's only going to cost you just $2.99. We currently have over 1,000 members who are signed up and active on that site. And if you find yourself really enjoying this video here today, please feel free to give it a thumbs up by smashing that like button. And if you haven't done so already, please feel free to hit that subscribe button as well and join the Brock Page family. I'd love to connect with you on a daily basis. Now, the undefeated LSU Tigers have successfully covered the point spread in all 5 of their victories this season. They're also averaging over 85 points a game, and they rank in the top 25 in offensive field goal percentage. Darius Days scoring over 19 points a night, along with 7 rebounds. He's also drilling 55% of his three-pointers. Meanwhile, Tari Eason is scoring over 13.5 points a night himself, along with 8 boards. Now, defensively, LSU's limiting their opponents to just 24% shooting from beyond the arc. They're also in the top 3 in the country in fewest points allowed per game. They're taking on a Penn State team who failed to cover the point spread in all 4 of their ball games this year. The Nittany Lions are also allowing over 36 second-half points a game, and they've struggled to guard the 3-ball. Now, total-wise, Penn State's 3-1 of the under in their last 4. Meanwhile, LSU saw 4 out of their last 5 fall under the line themselves. I'm going to lean toward LSU -9, under 142. Next matchup, it is going to be Xavier versus Virginia Tech, 7 o'clock Eastern start time. Virginia Tech's -3, totals 135.5. The Hokies are drilling 41% of their three-pointers. They're in the top 25 in that category. Kaveh Aluma scoring over 12.5 points a game, along with 5 rebounds. Meanwhile, Nahim Alene is averaging over a dozen points a game himself. 3 rebounds, couple assists for Alene. The guard is also drilling 40% of his three-pointers. Virginia Tech's 5-1 against the number overall for the season. They're also holding their opponents to just 18% shooting from three-land. They actually lead the NCAA in that category. They're taking on a Xavier team who doesn't shoot the 3-ball well themselves. They're making just 27% of their three-pointers this year. The Musketeers are also allowing 35 second-half points a game. Now, total-wise, 3 out of Xavier's last 5 fell under the line. Meanwhile, the Hokies are 5-1 of the under for the entire season. I'm going to lean toward Virginia Tech -3, under 135.5. Next matchup, it is going to be Wichita State versus Missouri, 9 o'clock Eastern tip-off. Wichita State's -2.5, totals 132. The Shockers have won 4 of 5 this season, just 64 points per contest they're giving up. They're also holding their opponents to just 28% shooting from three-land. Tyson Etienne is averaging nearly 19 points a game, a couple assists for the guard. Meanwhile, Ricky Council IV is scoring 11 points a night, along with 3 rebounds. They're taking on a Missouri team who failed to cover in 3 out of their last 5. Mizzou scoring just 67 points a game, and they're shooting only 30% from beyond the arc. The Tigers are also averaging only 26 first-half points a game. Total-wise, Mizzou's contest with Northern Illinois fell 47 points below the posted number. Meanwhile, Wichita State saw 3 out of their last 5 fall under the line themselves. I'm going to lean toward Wichita State -2.5, under 132. Next game, Oregon State, Wake Forest, 9:30 Eastern start time. Wake Forest is -4.5, totals 140. The undefeated Demon Deacons are shooting 54% from the field. That's in the top 3 in the country in that category. The Deacs are also drilling nearly 41% of their three-pointers, and they're in the top 15 in the nation in scoring on average per game. Alondis Williams is scoring over 19 points a game. 5 rebounds, 3 assists for the senior. Williams is also drilling nearly 40% of his three-pointers. Meanwhile, Davian Williamson scoring 15 points a game, 15 of 28 from three-land for him. Now defensively, the Deacs are allowing just 63 points a game. They're also holding their opponents to just 39% shooting from the field. They're taking on an Oregon State team who lost their last 4 straight, and they failed to cover the number in all 5 of their ball games. Oregon State scores only 67 points per contest. They're also struggling to rebound the basketball offensively. Now, total-wise, the Beavs' last 2 straight got over the number. Meanwhile, Wake Forest is 4-0 to the over in their last 4 themselves. I'm going to lean toward Wake Forest, -4.5, over 140. Next ball game, Gonzaga versus Duke, 10:30 Eastern start time. Gonzaga's -8.5, totals 154. The Bulldogs lead the NCAA in offensive field goal percentage. They're making 56% of their field goals. They're also scoring 92 points per contest. Drew Timme scoring over 18.5 points a game, 6 rebounds, 2 assists for the forward. Meanwhile, Julian Strother is scoring 14 points a game along with 5 assists. The guard's also drilling over 48% of his three-pointers. Meanwhile, defensively, Gonzaga allows just 60 points a game, and they rank in the top 15 in defensive rebounding. They're taking on a Duke squad who failed to cover in 4 out of their last 5 ball games. Duke's making just 33% of their three-pointers. They've also done a pretty moderate job of rebounding defensively. Not great, not terrible, but not awesome. 2 out of Duke's last 3 got over the number. Give me Gonzaga -8.5, over 154. And with that, guys, now it's time for our quick pick recap. Powered to you by my website at brockpage.com, where we are 8-3 in our last 11 NBA tier package picks. I like LSU -9, under 142. Virginia Tech -3, under 135.5. Wichita State -2.5, under 132. Wake Forest -4.5, over 140. Gonzaga -8.5, over 154. And as far as all the other games go, I like Dayton +16, over 139.5. Samford with an M, -2.5, under 145. UCONN -8, over 125.5. Brown University -2.5, under 148. Clemson -22.5, under 140. Boston College -16, under 133. Purdue -36.5, over 145. VMI +1, under 146. Austin P +2.5, over 147. Portland +7, over 146. Tennessee Volunteers -23, over 143. San Diego -6, over 133.5. Longwood +4, under 123 and a hook. Ole Miss -41.5, under 147. Oral Roberts +9.5, over 147. Presbyterian -8, over 132. Drake Bulldogs +6.5, over 150. IPFW -4.5, over 142. Auburn -5.5, over 147. UC Riverside -13, under 129.5. DePaul, the Blue Demons -5.5, over 140. Hawaii +3.5, over 139. Iona Gales +3.5, under 148. Big upset for them yesterday. Loyola Chicago -6.5, under 134. West Virginia -16, under 150. Virginia Cavaliers -19, under 121.5. Kentucky Wildcats -25, over 145 and a hook. Portland State +23, over 153.5. Florida Gulf Coast -11, over 140. Alcorn State +15.5, under 130. Tulsa -12.5, under 133. Arkansas State -1, over 134.5. UTRG, that's Texas Rio Grande, +26.5, under 148. Boise State -16, over 133.5. St. Joe's plus 7.5 under 145. New Mexico minus 2.5 over 144. Iowa State plus 11.5 over 141. Southern Miss plus 7 over 128.5. University of Pacific minus 19 over 135.5. San Francisco Dons minus 2 over 141. Before I give you my next and final free pick for the video, one final reminder that we are 8-3 in our last 11 NBA tier package picks on BrockPage.com. We're also hitting at 76% in our last 22 extra daily picks on BrockPage.com as well. I like USC plus 1 under 131. And with that, guys, now it's time for our shout out of the day. And that's going to go to Maya Doan, who said earlier this morning, good pick. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on BrockPage.com. If you guys do end up getting a membership here today on that website, just keep in mind you're going to get billed the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. So if you do end up getting a membership here today on BrockPage.com, you are going to get access to that content all the way through the end of November. Although I do tell folks in every single video, the earlier in the month you sign up, the better. You may want to think about waiting until December 1st to get your max value for your money. But having said that, you may not want to lose the next handful of days worth of picks either. So the ball's really in your court. I don't have any preference on what you do. I just need to make sure that you're aware that the way Patreon does it, they bill people the day they sign up and then the first of every month following that. But most importantly, guys, got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. I really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, guys, happy Friday to you. Happy Black Friday to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at BrockPage.com.